had to have a theme song, I would definitely say Backseat Freestyle by Kendrick Lamar. I know every single word to that song, and I really wish that I was best friends with Kendrick Lamar, and I'm not, and it makes me sad daily.
She know the words to that song, boy. Backseat Freestyle, that's love, man. That's a beautiful thing, Taylor Swift, enjoying.
Would you ever see collaborating with her?
Talented artist, definitely.
In the ever-twisting saga of the music industry, alliances and rivalries often create some of the most unexpected storylines. Today, we delve into one such fascinating narrative that has left fans and insiders buzzing. But what exactly happens when the lyrical genius Kendrick Lamar and pop sensation Taylor Swift join forces, inadvertently creating ripples that reach Drake's shores? This is not just a tale of chart-topping hits and glamorous collaborations, but a story of unintended consequences that shook the rap world. Join us as we unravel the intricate web of relationships and unforeseen repercussions in the Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift connection that backfired on Drake. But before that, don't forget to subscribe. Now, let's dive in. Drake, hailing from Canada, first made a name for himself on the TV show Degrassi. Despite his Canadian roots, he got signed at YMCMB, Young Money, where Lil Wayne reigned supreme. Lil Wayne's advice to Drake was simple: don't act tough, just be yourself. Embracing this, Drake released Thank Me Later and Take Care, albums filled with raw emotional tracks that resonated deeply with fans. On the other hand, Kendrick Lamar's journey was quite different. Coming from Compton, California, he signed with Black Hippie and Top Dog Entertainment. It took some time, but he eventually rose to stardom. Recognizing Kendrick's talent, Drake invited him on tour, sparking a strong industry friendship. Drake even featured on Kendrick's Good Kid, M.A.A. de City with the classic track Poetic Justice. Kendrick's album, featuring hits like Swimming Pools, catapulted him from a promising act to a superstar. In October 2012, Kendrick released this album on the same day Taylor Swift dropped Red. As Kendrick climbed the charts, Taylor Swift noticed his talent. She even posted a video rapping along to Backseat Freestyle, showing her appreciation for his work. At that time, Taylor Swift had a powerful reputation. Everyone knew you didn't want to release an album on the same day as her. Drake even mentioned this in his song Red Button, saying Taylor Swift was the only one who could make him delay an album release. Drake, a numbers guy, understood that Taylor Swift dominated the music charts. Drake frequently name-dropped Taylor Swift throughout his beefs, highlighting her influence over Kendrick Lamar's album release dates, which is a fascinating dynamic. During this period, Taylor and Kendrick formed a mutual respect, especially when Taylor rapped over Backseat Freestyle in 2013. By then, Kendrick was a full-blown superstar. Kendrick then dropped a verse on Big Sean's song Control, where he boldly challenged all rappers, declaring his desire to be the #1 rapper. He called out everyone, including Drake, but clarified it was all in friendly competition. While others like J. Cole, Meek Mill, and Pusha T saw it as typical competitive spirit, Drake felt differently. Drake, known for his vulnerable, emotional style, had grown tired of being labeled as soft. By 2013, he was fed up with the jokes and the reputation that came with his music style. This shift marked a turning point in Drake's career and his approach to the music industry. In 2013, Drake shifted to a more confident persona, aiming to be bolder with his music. He released Nothing Was the Same, one of his best albums. However, the album's rollout was overshadowed by Kendrick Lamar's verse on Control. Drake took that verse personally, feeling it challenged him directly. He responded with determination, ready for a musical showdown. Drake expressed his frustration, saying, "If it's really everybody, then it needs to be It can't be halfway for the sake of the people." Kendrick, on the other hand, claimed he was just having fun with his verse and didn't understand why Drake was so sensitive about it. This led to a rift between the two, marking the beginning of their rivalry. Drake, feeling slighted, used this as fuel to evolve his image. No longer wanting to be seen as the soft rapper from Canada, he embraced a more assertive role in the hip-hop world. This rivalry pushed him to step up his game and become one of hip-hop's biggest stars. Kendrick responded to the controversy in his hip-hop cipher, adding fuel to the fire. The back and forth between them captivated the music world as fans watched two of the industry's top talents clash. Drake's transformation after Nothing Was the Same was significant. He emerged from the feud stronger, leaving behind his old image and embracing his new role as a dominant force in hip-hop. In 2015, If You're Reading This, It's Too Late became one of the best trap albums ever. Drake exuded confidence, transforming into a rock star of hip-hop, his swagger at an all-time high. He soon faced off against Meek Mill in a rap beef and came out on top with his track Back to Back. At this point, Drake was unstoppable, brimming with confidence. He then teamed up with Future, a prominent street rapper from Atlanta, to release What a Time to Be Alive, earning him street credibility and shedding his soft boy image from Canada. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar took a different musical path. He began experimenting with jazz, funk, and blues, resulting in To Pimp a Butterfly, an alternative hip-hop album. Kendrick's music delved deep into social issues, particularly those affecting the Black community. His work resonated so deeply that he created an anthem for a movement against injustices, earning him an invitation to the White House. There, he forged a bond with President Barack Obama. The connection between Kendrick and Obama was solidified when the president was asked who would win in a rap battle between Kendrick and Drake. Obama's choice was clear. Got to go with Kendrick. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, his last album was outstanding. Despite all their success, Kendrick Lamar and Drake still had lingering tension. By this time, Drake had solidified his place as a massive star, earning street cred and releasing hits like Hotline Bling, Controlla, and One Dance. He dominated pop radio and even appeared in a commercial with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, a huge fan of Kendrick Lamar, reached out to him for the Bad Blood remix. Meanwhile, Drake was acutely aware of Kendrick's threat to mainstream hip-hop. Kendrick's conscious music, which didn't fit the typical mainstream mold, still garnered impressive numbers and major collaborations, like with Taylor Swift. This made him a superstar in hip-hop, while Drake, despite his commercial success, struggled to earn the same critical acclaim or prestigious awards. Drake expressed his frustration in a song, suggesting he could have all of Kendrick's fans if he hadn't gone pop. He implied that if he focused on conscious music, he could produce an album like Kendrick's. However, many disagreed, believing Drake couldn't create a record like Kendrick's. Still, Drake's work from 2011 to 2016 is widely loved and respected. During this period, Kendrick released To Pimp a Butterfly, a powerful album addressing social justice issues. His efforts earned him invitations to the White House and recognition as a leader of social movements. Yet, Kendrick also played the industry's game, collaborating with pop artists and maintaining a strong presence in mainstream music. Kendrick Lamar and Taylor Swift grew quite close, and that's a detail many might not know. Jack Antonoff started really appreciating Kendrick's music. One day, Kendrick was in the studio with Jack and Taylor at Electric Lady Studios. During their conversation, Kendrick mentioned his producer, Soundwave. Jack introduced himself to Soundwave. They shook hands, exchanged numbers, and a collaboration was born. This connection would later come back to impact Drake. Over the years, Kendrick and Drake kept a distance, occasionally throwing subtle jabs at each other. As time passed, they drifted apart, and Kendrick eventually released Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. If you check the credits for this album, Soundwave's name appears all over it. One notable voice on the album is Sam Dew, which might sound familiar to Taylor Swift fans. Listening to Lavender Haze from Taylor's Midnight's album, Sam Dew's voice stands out. Looking at the credits for Lavender Haze, not only is Sam Dew credited, but so is Soundwave. This collaboration highlights the strong musical circle formed by Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, Soundwave, and Jack Antonoff. Interestingly, Sam Dew, Soundwave, and Jack Antonoff have created a group called Red Hearse. This group has become a significant part of their collaborative efforts, further intertwining their musical journeys. This network of connections between Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, Soundwave, and Jack Antonoff created a fascinating dynamic. Drake released For All the Dogs, featuring a track called First Person Shooter with J. Cole. J. Cole, one of the three giants of hip-hop alongside Kendrick Lamar and Drake, suggested they bring Kendrick onto the track. This trio has dominated mainstream hip-hop for the past 15 years. J. Cole thought it would be a great way to celebrate their legacy together, but Drake, not being a fan of Kendrick, was hesitant. They called Kendrick, and to their surprise, he picked up. However, Kendrick wasn't interested. He didn't want to collaborate with Drake after all the tension over the past decade. Kendrick's refusal left Drake feeling slighted. During First Person Shooter, Drake and J. Cole highlight their bond, proclaiming themselves the best rappers, and deliberately exclude Kendrick. J. Cole even claims to be the Muhammad Ali of the group, while Drake avoids mentioning Kendrick altogether. This exclusion didn't sit well with Kendrick. He responded with a fiery verse on Future's album, dismissing the concept of the Big Three and calling out both Drake and J. Cole with lines like, "Mother of asterisk, asterisk, the Big Three, it's just Big Me." This bold statement stirred the pot, prompting J. Cole to release a diss track aimed at Kendrick. However, J. Cole's heart wasn't in it, and he eventually apologized, showing the complexity and underlying respect in their dynamic. Drake has managed to upset almost every rapper in the industry. He's been involved with other rappers' girlfriends, feuded with basketball players, and even had beef with Serena Williams. His actions have caused friction everywhere. Kendrick Lamar decides to take on the challenge and plans to confront Drake, ready for the battle. During this time, many big names in the music industry, like Beyoncé, Dua Lipa, Billie Eilish, and Taylor Swift, are preparing to release their albums. Drake, however, is exhausted. He just released an album and completed a world tour, leaving him wanting to relax rather than dive into more drama. He's desperate to resolve this feud quickly, practically pleading with Kendrick to release his diss tracks and end the conflict. But Kendrick is in no rush, which frustrates Drake even more. Drake had promised Camila Cabello 2 songs for her album that would ensure it went to #1. Due to the ongoing beef with Kendrick, Drake had to call Camila and tell her she couldn't release her album yet. Camila was understandably upset, but Drake explained that the rap beef needed to be settled first. Kendrick's delay in releasing his diss tracks is driving Drake crazy. Drake even starts trolling Kendrick, questioning why it's taking so long.